Hello, English learners. Your host for today. If you are new here, let me tell you that we upload helpful English learning videos regularly to help you improve your English faster, speak more naturally, and become more confident in real-life conversations. In today's episode, you will learn 100 useful daily English sentences for real English speaking practice. These sentences will help you communicate more clearly in everyday situations, such as talking about your routine, making plans, asking for help, sharing your opinions, speaking at work, shopping, traveling, and having natural conversations with other people. You will not only improve your English listening skills, but you will also strengthen your speaking, pronunciation, vocabulary, and sentence-building skills. We will go through practical examples, natural responses, and advanced English phrases that fluent speakers commonly use in daily life. You will also get plenty of speaking practice. So listen carefully, say the sentences aloud, and try to copy the natural rhythm and pronunciation. Some sentences will be simple and easy to remember, while others will help you express yourself in a more fluent and advanced way. Do not worry if you cannot remember all 100 sentences immediately. Focus on understanding each sentence, practicing it clearly, and learning how to use it in a real conversation. By the end of this lesson, you will have a strong collection of useful English sentences that you can use every day. You will also feel more comfortable forming natural responses without translating every word in your mind. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for more helpful English learning episodes like this one. So, grab a pen and paper, listen carefully, and get ready to practice real English with me. Let's get started. Let's begin with a sentence that you can use almost every morning. I'm just getting ready for the day. This sentence is useful when someone calls you, sends you a message, or asks what you are doing early in the morning. The expression, getting ready for the day, can include many small actions, such as washing your face, taking a shower, getting dressed, preparing breakfast, checking your phone, or looking at your schedule. Instead of explaining every action, you can simply say, I'm just getting ready for the day. Listen carefully and say it with me. I'm just getting ready for the day. Now, imagine that a friend calls and asks, are you free right now? You can answer, I'm just getting ready for the day, but I can talk for a few minutes. You can also say, I'm just getting ready for the day, so I'll call you back soon. This sentence sounds natural because it gives enough information without making the answer too long. Here is another common sentence. I didn't sleep very well last night. You can use this when you feel tired, sleepy, or less energetic than usual. Perhaps there was noise outside, you went to bed late, or you woke up several times during the night. A natural example is, I didn't sleep very well last night, so I'm feeling a little tired today. You might also say, I didn't sleep very well last night because I had a lot on my mind. The phrase, have a lot on my mind, means that you are thinking or worrying about many things. Say the main sentence slowly. I didn't sleep very well last night. Now, say the longer version. I didn't sleep very well last night, so I may go to bed early this evening. Notice that we say sleep well, not sleep good. The word well describes how you slept. The next sentence is, I'm running a little behind this morning. This means that you are late or that your routine is taking longer than expected. It is softer and more natural than simply saying, I am late. You can use it when you are preparing for work, an appointment, a meeting, or a journey. For example, I'm running a little behind this morning, but I should be there by 9. Another example is, I'm running a little behind, so please start without me. The phrase run behind is very common in spoken English. Practice it now. I'm running a little behind this morning. Again, with a calm and natural rhythm, I'm running a little behind this morning. Now, Imagine that your colleague sends you a message asking where you are. You can reply, "I'm running a little behind this morning, but I'm on my way." A very useful sentence for making decisions is, "Let me think about it for a moment." You can use this when someone asks you a question, and you do not want to answer too quickly. It shows that you are considering the situation carefully. For example, someone may ask, "Would you like to join us for dinner?" You can say, "Let me think about it for a moment. I need to check my schedule." At work, someone may ask, "Which option do you prefer?" You can answer, "Let me think about it for a moment before I decide." This phrase is polite and gives you time to organize your thoughts. Say it with me. Let me think about it for a moment. Now, try this advanced version. Let me give that some thought before I make a decision. The phrase "give that some thought" has almost the same meaning, but it sounds slightly more polished. Now, let's practice a sentence you can use when you are unsure. "I'm not entirely sure about that." This is more natural and polite than saying, "I don't know." The word entirely softens the sentence and shows that you may know something, but you are not completely certain. For example, "I'm not entirely sure about the time, but I think the meeting starts at 10. You can also say, "I'm not entirely sure about that. Let me check and get back to you." The expression, "get back to you," means that you will contact the person later with more information. Practice the main sentence. "I'm not entirely sure about that." Now, say the full response. "I'm not entirely sure about that, but I'll find out and get back to you." The next useful sentence is, "That sounds like a good idea to me." You can use this when you agree with someone's suggestion. It is warmer and more conversational than simply saying, "Yes." Imagine that a friend says, "Why don't we leave early to avoid traffic?" You can answer, "That sounds like a good idea to me." A colleague may say, "We could discuss this again tomorrow morning." You can reply, "That sounds like a good idea to me. We'll have more time then." Practice it now. "That sounds like a good idea to me." You can also use the shorter version. "Sounds good to me." Both are natural, but the longer sentence is clearer for learners and works well in many situations. Here is a sentence for situations when you disagree politely. "I see your point, but I look at it differently." This is an advanced and respectful way to share another opinion. The phrase "I see your point" means that you understand the other person's idea, even if you do not fully agree. For example, "I see your point, but I think we should wait until we have more information." You could also say, "I see your point, but I look at it differently," because the cost may be too high. This sentence is especially useful at work, in discussions, and in serious conversations. Say it slowly. "I see your point, but I look at it differently." Now, practice a complete example. "I see your point, but I think there may be a better way to handle this." The next sentence is, "I'll take care of it as soon as I can." This means that you accept responsibility for a task and will deal with it quickly. You can use it at home, at work, or whenever someone asks you to do something. For example, "The kitchen light is not working." You can respond, "I'll take care of it as soon as I can." At work, someone may say, "Could you send me the updated file?" You can answer, "Of course. I'll take care of it as soon as I can." The expression "take care of it" means to handle, manage, or solve something. Practice it with me. "I'll take care of it as soon as I can." Now, say, "Don't worry. I'll take care of it before the end of the day." Another very common sentence is, "I'm on my way now." This means that you have started traveling to a place. You can send this message when you are going to meet a friend, arriving at work, visiting someone, or attending an appointment. For example, "Are you still at home?" "No. I'm on my way now." Another natural response is, "I'm on my way now, and I should be there in about 20 minutes." You can also say, "Sorry for the delay, I'm on my way." practice the sentence, I'm on my way just now. Now, remember that on my way does not mean that you are preparing to leave. It usually means you have already left and are traveling. Now, let's learn a useful sentence for busy situations. I have quite a lot to get through today. This means that you have many tasks to complete. The phrase get through can mean to finish or deal with a number of tasks. For example, I have quite a lot to get through today, so I may not be able to take a long break. You could say, I have several emails, 2 meetings, and a report to finish. I have quite a lot to get through today. This sentence sounds natural and slightly advanced. Say it with me. I have quite a lot to get through today. Now, try the easier version. I have a lot to do today. Both are correct, but quite a lot to get through sounds more fluent in professional and everyday English. The next sentence is, I could really use a cup of coffee. This means that you would like or need coffee, usually because you are tired or want more energy. The phrase could really use is a natural way to express a strong need or desire. You can also use it with other things. You might say, I could really use a break. I could really use some help. Or, I could really use a good night's sleep. Listen again. I could really use a cup of coffee. Now, practice this example. I didn't sleep well, and I could really use a cup of coffee. Be careful. This phrase does not mean that you are asking how to use something. It means that something would be helpful or welcome. Here is another sentence you may use at work or at home. I'm trying to stay on top of everything. To stay on top of everything means to remain organized and make sure that your responsibilities are under control. For example, work has been busy, but I'm trying to stay on top of everything. You can also say, I write a daily list because it helps me stay on top of everything. This phrase is useful when you have several tasks, appointments, or responsibilities. Say it slowly. I'm trying to stay on top of everything. Now, say the full sentence. I have a busy week ahead, but I'm trying to stay on top of everything. The next daily sentence is, I'll have to check my schedule first. Use this when someone invites you somewhere or asks whether you are available. Instead of accepting or refusing immediately, you can say, I'll have to check my schedule first. For example, are you free for lunch on Friday? I'll have to check my schedule first, but I think I should be available. Another example is, I'd love to join you, but I'll have to check my schedule first. This sentence is polite because it shows interest without making a promise. Practice it now. I'll have to check my schedule first. Then say, I'll check my schedule and let you know this evening. Now, let's practice a sentence for changing plans. Something has come up, so I may be a little late. When something comes up, an unexpected situation or problem appears, you do not always need to explain exactly what happened. For example, something has come up, so I may be a little late for dinner. You can also say, I'm sorry, but something has come up and I need to leave early. This phrase is useful because it sounds natural, polite, and private. Practice it with me. Something has come up, so I may be a little late. Now, say, I'm sorry for the short notice, but something has come up. The expression short notice means that you are informing someone very close to the time of the event. The next sentence is, would you mind giving me a hand with this? This is a polite way to ask for help. The phrase give me a hand means help me. You can use it when carrying something, fixing something, preparing food, completing a task, or solving a problem. For example, would you mind giving me a hand with these boxes? Another example is, would you mind giving me a hand with this report? I want to make sure the numbers are correct. When someone asks, would you mind helping me? A positive response can be, not at all, or, of course. Practice the question, would you mind giving me a hand with this? Now, answer naturally, not at all. What would you like me to do? Here is a useful response when someone helps you. I really appreciate you taking the time. This is more meaningful than a simple, thank you. You can say it when someone explains something, listens to your problem, gives you advice, or completes a task for you. For example, I really appreciate you taking the time to explain this to me. You could also say, I know you're busy, so I really appreciate you taking the time. This sentence sounds warm, respectful, and professional. Say it with me. I really appreciate you taking the time. Now, say the complete version. I really appreciate you taking the time to help me with this. The next sentence is, I didn't quite catch what you said. This is a polite way to ask someone to repeat themselves. You can use it when the person speaks too quickly, the room is noisy, or you simply do not understand. The word quite makes the sentence sound softer. For example, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. Could you say that again? Another useful version is, I didn't quite catch the last part. Practice the sentence, I didn't quite catch what you said. Now, say, would you mind saying that a little more slowly? These two sentences are excellent for English learners because they help you continue a conversation without feeling embarrassed. Now, let's learn a sentence for clarification. Just to make sure I understand, you want me to send it today, right? The opening phrase, just to make sure I understand, is very useful when confirming information. You can change the rest of the sentence depending on the situation. You might say, just to make sure I understand, the appointment is at 3 o'clock, right? Or, just to make sure I understand, we're meeting outside the station, right? This phrase can prevent mistakes and shows that you are listening carefully. Practice the opening, just to make sure I understand. Now, say the full example. Just to make sure I understand. You'd like me to finish this by Friday, right? The next sentence is, that's not exactly what I had in mind. You can use this when something is different from what you expected or wanted. It is more polite than saying, this is wrong. For example, perhaps you ordered a plain black shirt, but the shop assistant brings you a patterned one. You could say, that's not exactly what I had in mind. Do you have something simpler? At work, you might say, that's not exactly what I had in mind, but we can make a few changes. Practice it now. That's not exactly what I had in mind. Notice that the sentence expresses disappointment without sounding rude. Here is another useful phrase. I'm afraid that won't be possible today. This is a polite and professional way to say no. The words I'm afraid do not mean that you are scared. In this sentence, they soften the refusal. For example, could you finish the whole project this afternoon? You may reply, I'm afraid that won't be possible today, but I can finish it tomorrow morning. Another example is, can we meet at 6? I'm afraid that won't be possible today. Would 7:30 work for you? Practice the sentence. I'm afraid that won't be possible today. Then add an alternative. I'm afraid that won't be possible today, but I'm available tomorrow. The next sentence is, I'll see what I can do. Use this when someone asks for help, and you want to try, but you cannot promise a result. For example, can you move the appointment to an earlier time? You might say, I'll see what I can do. Someone may ask, could you finish this before lunch? You can answer, I'll see what I can do, but I can't make any promises. This phrase is helpful because it shows willingness while keeping expectations realistic. Say it with me, I'll see what I can do. Now, practice, leave it with me, and I'll see what I can do. The phrase, leave it with me, means that you will take responsibility for checking or handling the situation. Now, let's use all these sentences in a short daily life practice. Imagine that it is a busy weekday morning. A friend calls and asks, are you ready to leave? You answer, I'm just getting ready for the day. I didn't sleep very well last night, so I'm moving a little slowly. Your friend says, We need to leave soon. You reply, I know. I'm running a little behind this morning, but I'll be ready in 10 minutes. Later, a colleague asks whether you can attend a meeting in the afternoon. You say, I'll have to check my schedule first. I have quite a lot to get through today. Your colleague asks you to review a document. You respond, I'll see what I can do. Leave it with me, and I'll take care of it as soon as I can. These sentences connect naturally because they reflect real situations that happen in an ordinary day. Now, pause and practice the key responses in your own voice. Say, I'm just getting ready for the day. Say, I'm running a little behind this morning. Say, let me think about it for a moment. Say, I'm not entirely sure about that. Say, I see your point, but I look at it differently. Say, I'll take care of it as soon as I can. Say, I have quite a lot to get through today. Say, something has come up, so I may be a little late. Say, would you mind giving me a hand with this? Say, I didn't quite catch what you said. Try to speak clearly, but do not force every word. Natural English has rhythm. Some words are stronger, and other words are softer. The more often you hear and say these complete phrases, the easier it becomes to use them without translating. For your next practice exercise, imagine that you are answering a message from a friend. The friend writes, Are you free for coffee this afternoon? A natural answer could be, That sounds like a good idea to me, but I'll have to check my schedule first. Now, imagine that you discover you are busy. You can say, I'm afraid that won't be possible today. Could we meet tomorrow instead? Now, imagine that you are going to be late. You can write, Something has come up, so I may be a little late. I'm on my way now. This kind of practice is important because it teaches you to combine sentences instead of learning them separately. Let's continue with an advanced fluency exercise. Listen to the situation and then create your own response. You are at work, and a colleague asks you to complete an urgent task. You already have several things to do. You could say, I have quite a lot to get through today, but I'll see what I can do. You could make it more polite by saying, I understand that it's urgent. I have quite a lot to get through today, but I'll see what I can do and get back to you shortly. Now, imagine that your manager gives you instructions, but you do not hear the final detail. You could say, I didn't quite catch the last part. Just to make sure I understand. You want me to send the final version today, right? These longer responses sound fluent because they connect useful phrases in a logical way. Keep practicing these sentences throughout your day. Say them while preparing breakfast, traveling to work, writing a message, or planning your schedule. You do not need to wait for a perfect conversation partner. You can create small situations in your mind and answer them aloud. The goal is to make each sentence feel familiar. When a real situation happens, the words will come to you more quickly because you have already practiced the complete phrase. Now, let's continue with another sentence that is useful when you need more time. I'm still working on it. You can use this when someone asks whether a task is finished, but you have not completed it yet. For example, your manager may ask, Have you finished the report? You can answer, I'm still working on it. I should have it ready by this afternoon. At home, someone might ask, Have you fixed the shelf? You could say, I'm still working on it. I need a few more minutes. This sentence is simple, but it sounds more positive than saying, No, it isn't finished. It shows that the task is already in progress. Say it with me. I'm still working on it. Now, practice a longer version. I'm still working on it, but I'm making good progress. The next useful sentence is, I'll get it done before the deadline. This sentence shows confidence and responsibility. A deadline is the final time or date by which something must be completed. You can use this expression at work, while studying, or whenever you have an important task. For example, The project is taking longer than expected, but I'll get it done before the deadline. You can also say, don't worry, I'll get it done before Friday. The phrase get it done means complete it. Practice the main sentence now. I'll get it done before the deadline. Now, say, I may need to work a little longer, but I'll get it done before the deadline. Here is another natural sentence. I'm trying to figure out what went wrong. To figure something out means to understand it or find a solution. You can use this phrase when your phone stops working, a plan fails, a mistake appears in a document, or something does not happen as expected. For example, the computer keeps turning off, and I'm trying to figure out what went wrong. Another example is, the payment did not go through, so I'm trying to figure out what went wrong. Practice it slowly. I'm trying to figure out what went wrong. Now, say, give me a few minutes. I'm trying to figure out what went wrong. The next sentence is, it completely slipped my mind. This means that you forgot something. It is a natural and common way to admit that you did not remember a task, appointment, name, or promise. Imagine that a friend says, you were supposed to call me yesterday. You can answer, I'm so sorry. It completely slipped my mind. At work, you might say, I meant to send the email this morning, but it completely slipped my mind. This phrase sounds more natural than repeatedly saying, I forgot. Practice it with me. It completely slipped my mind. Now, use it in a full apology. I'm sorry I didn't reply earlier. It completely slipped my mind. Another useful sentence for apologies is, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. Use this when your action creates a problem, even though that was not your intention. For example, perhaps you parked your car in the wrong place, interrupted a meeting, or sent incorrect information. You could say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. You might also say, I only wanted to help. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. The phrase didn't mean to tells the listener that the result was accidental. Say it slowly. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. Now, practice. I apologize for the confusion. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. The next sentence is, thanks for bringing that to my attention. This is a polite and professional response when someone informs you about a problem, mistake, or important detail. To bring something to someone's attention means to make them aware of it. For example, a colleague may say, there is an incorrect date in this document. You can answer, thanks for bringing that to my attention. I'll correct it now. A customer may tell you that an item is missing from an order. You can respond, thank you for bringing that to my attention. Let me look into it. Practice the sentence, thanks for bringing that to my attention. Now, say the longer version, thanks for bringing that to my attention. I'll deal with it right away. Here is a sentence that can help you manage misunderstandings. I think there may have been a misunderstanding. This is a polite way to explain that two people understood a situation differently. It avoids directly blaming anyone. For example, I think there may have been a misunderstanding. I thought the meeting was scheduled for tomorrow. Another example is, I think there may have been a misunderstanding about the price. This phrase is useful in shops, workplaces, hotels, appointments, and personal conversations. Practice it with me. I think there may have been a misunderstanding. Now, say, I think there may have been a misunderstanding. So let me explain what I meant. The next sentence is, let's not jump to conclusions. To jump to conclusions means to decide what happened before having enough information. You can use this phrase when someone makes a quick judgment. For example, the package has not arrived yet, but let's not jump to conclusions. It may simply be delayed. Another example is, we don't know why she missed the meeting, so let's not jump to conclusions. This sentence can help keep a conversation calm and reasonable. Say it slowly. Let's not jump to conclusions. Now, practice. Let's not jump to conclusions until we know all the facts. Another helpful sentence is, we'll deal with it when the time comes. This means that you do not need to worry about a future problem right now. You will handle it when it actually happens. For example, what will we do if the weather changes? You can answer, we'll deal with it when the time comes. You might also say, there's no point worrying about next month. We'll deal with it when the time comes. This phrase is useful when you want to stay calm and focus on the present. Practice it now. We'll deal with it when the time comes. Now, say, for now, let's focus on today. We'll deal with the rest when the time comes. The next sentence is, I'd rather not make a decision in a hurry. The phrase, I'd rather not, is a polite way to say that you prefer not to do something. This sentence is useful when someone pressures you to decide quickly. For example, would you like to buy the car today? You could respond, I'd rather not make a decision in a hurry. I need some time to think. At work, you might say, I'd rather not make a decision in a hurry without reviewing the details. Practice it with me. I'd rather not make a decision in a hurry. Now, try the shorter pattern with another example. I'd rather not discuss it right now. Here is another natural expression. I need to weigh up my options. To weigh up your options means to consider the advantages and disadvantages of different choices. For example, you may be deciding between 2 jobs, 2 flats, or 2 travel plans. You can say, I need to weigh up my options before I accept the offer. Another example is, both courses look useful, so I need to weigh up my options. This phrase sounds thoughtful and advanced. Say it slowly. I need to weigh up my options. Now, practice the full sentence. I appreciate the offer, but I need a little time to weigh up my options. The next sentence is, I'm leaning towards the first option. To lean towards something means to prefer it slightly, even though you have not made a final decision. Imagine that you are choosing between 2 restaurants. You can say, they both look good, but I'm leaning towards the first option. At work, you might say, I'm leaning towards the first option because it is more affordable. This phrase allows you to express a preference without sounding completely certain. Practice it now. I'm leaning towards the first option. Then say, I haven't decided yet, but I'm leaning towards the first option. Another useful sentence is, that works for me. This is a short and natural way to accept a proposed time, place, or arrangement. For example, someone says, can we meet at 2:30? You can answer, that works for me. A friend may say, let's have lunch near the station. You can reply, that works for me. It's easy to get there. This expression is common in spoken English because it is simple and flexible. Practice it. That works for me. Now say, Thursday afternoon works for me, but Friday would be difficult. The next sentence is, I'm flexible, so whatever suits you. You can use this when you do not have a strong preference and want the other person to choose. The phrase, whatever suits you, means whatever is convenient or comfortable for you. For example, would you prefer to meet in the morning or afternoon? You can answer, I'm flexible, so whatever suits you. Another example is, we can eat here or go somewhere else. I'm flexible. Practice the complete sentence, I'm flexible, so whatever suits you. Now, try, I don't mind where we meet. Whatever suits you is fine. Here is a useful phrase for arranging plans. Shall we pencil it in for Friday? To pencil something in means to make a temporary arrangement that may be changed later. For example, we're both quite busy, but shall we pencil it in for Friday afternoon? You might also say, let's pencil in a meeting for next week and confirm the time later. This is a slightly advanced expression that is common in professional English. Practice it slowly. Shall we pencil it in for Friday? Now, say, let's pencil it in for Friday, and I'll confirm tomorrow. The next sentence is, I'll keep you posted. This means that you will continue giving someone new information as the situation develops. You can use it when plans are uncertain, when you are waiting for a decision, or when you are solving a problem. For example, I'm waiting to hear from the hotel, but I'll keep you posted. At work, you might say, the delivery has been delayed. I'll keep you posted if anything changes. Practice it now. I'll keep you posted. Now, say, I don't have all the details yet, but I'll keep you posted. Another useful sentence is, I'll let you know as soon as I hear anything. This is similar to, I'll keep you posted, but it specifically means that you will contact the person when you receive new information. For example, the doctor has not confirmed the appointment yet, but I'll let you know as soon as I hear anything. Another example is, we're waiting for the final decision. I'll let you know as soon as I hear anything. Practice it with me. I'll let you know as soon as I hear anything. Now, say, I'm still waiting for a reply, but I'll let you know as soon as I hear anything. The next sentence is, I don't want to get my hopes up. To get your hopes up means to become too excited or confident about something that may not happen. For example, you may have applied for a job but have not received an offer. You can say, the interview went well, but I don't want to get my hopes up. You could also say, there's a chance we may get cheaper tickets, but I don't want to get my hopes up. This phrase helps you express cautious optimism. Say it slowly. I don't want to get my hopes up. Now, practice. It sounds promising, but I don't want to get my hopes up just yet. Here is another advanced expression. Things are finally starting to fall into place. When things fall into place, different parts of a plan begin to work successfully. For example, we found a flat, arranged the move, and confirmed the new job. Things are finally starting to fall into place. You could also say, the project was difficult at first, but things are finally falling into place. This phrase often expresses relief and progress. Practice it now. Things are finally starting to fall into place. Now, say, after weeks of uncertainty, things are finally starting to fall into place. The next sentence is, it's been a long day, but I got a lot done. This is useful at the end of a busy day. It means that the day felt tiring or demanding, but you completed many tasks. For example, it's been a long day, but I got a lot done. I finished the report, went shopping, and cleaned the flat. Another example is, I'm exhausted. It's been a long day, but at least I got a lot done. The words at least help you focus on the positive part of a difficult situation. Practice the main sentence. It's been a long day, but I got a lot done. Now say, it's been a long day, so I'm ready to relax. Another natural sentence is, I'm completely worn out. To be worn out means to be extremely tired. You can feel physically worn out after exercise or mentally worn out after a stressful day. For example, I've been on my feet all day, and I'm completely worn out. The phrase, on my feet all day, means that you spent most of the day standing or walking. Another example is, that meeting lasted 3 hours. I'm mentally worn out. Practice it with me. I'm completely worn out. Now say, I'm completely worn out, so I think I'll have an early night. The next sentence is, I just need a little time to unwind. To unwind means to relax after stress, work, or activity. You may unwind by reading, listening to music, taking a walk, or sitting quietly. For example, I've had a busy day, and I just need a little time to unwind. Another example is, I usually make a cup of tea and listen to music to unwind. This is a natural and useful expression for evening conversations. Say it slowly, I just need a little time to unwind. Now, practice, give me half an hour to unwind, and then we can talk. Here is another sentence for daily routines. I'm going to call it a day. This means that you are going to stop working or finish an activity for the day. For example, I've finished the most important tasks, so I'm going to call it a day. You may also say, we've been cleaning for hours. Let's call it a day and continue tomorrow. This phrase does not mean that you are naming the day. It means you have done enough and are ready to stop. Practice it now. I'm going to call it a day. Now, say, I'm getting tired, so I think I'll call it a day. The next useful sentence is, I'll sleep on it and decide tomorrow. To sleep on something means to wait until the next day before making a decision. It gives you time to think calmly. For example, that's an interesting offer, but I'll sleep on it and decide tomorrow. You might also say, I'm not sure which one to choose. Let me sleep on it. This expression is often used for important choices. Practice the sentence, I'll sleep on it and decide tomorrow. Now say, I don't want to rush the decision, so I'll sleep on it. Another everyday sentence is, I'm in the mood for something light. To be in the mood for something means that you feel like having or doing it. This expression is often used when choosing food, entertainment, or an activity. For example, what would you like for dinner? I'm in the mood for something light, perhaps soup or salad. You can also say, I'm in the mood for a comedy, or I'm not in the mood to go out tonight. Practice the sentence, I'm in the mood for something light. Now, create your own example using the pattern, I'm in the mood for. You might say, I'm in the mood for a quiet evening at home. The next sentence is, I could do with something to eat. In British English, could do with means that you want or need something. It is similar to could really use. For example, after a long journey, you might say, I could do with something to eat. If you are tired, you could say, I could do with a short break. If the weather is hot, you might say, I could do with a cold drink. Practice the main sentence. I could do with something to eat. Now, say, I haven't eaten since breakfast, so I could do with something to eat. Here is a useful sentence for restaurants and cafes. Could you give us a few more minutes? You can use this when the server asks whether you are ready to order, but you have not chosen yet. For example, the server says, Are you ready to order? You can reply, Not quite. Could you give us a few more minutes? This is polite and natural. You could also say, We're still looking at the menu. Could you give us another minute? Practice the sentence with me. Could you give us a few more minutes? Now, say, We haven't decided yet, so could you give us a few more minutes? The next sentence is, What would you recommend? This is useful when you want advice about food, drinks, products, places, books, films, or services. In a restaurant, you might ask, What would you recommend for someone who doesn't eat spicy food? In a shop, you could say, I need a laptop for everyday work. What would you recommend? The question invites the other person to share their knowledge. Practice it now. What would you recommend? Now, make it more specific. What would you recommend for a first-time visitor? Another natural sentence is, I'll go with the same thing. You can use this when someone else has chosen something and you want the same item. At a cafe, your friend may order tea and a sandwich. You can say, That sounds good. I'll go with the same thing. The phrase go with means choose. You can also say, I think I'll go with the chicken, or I'll go with the cheaper option. Practice the sentence, I'll go with the same thing. Now say, I can't decide, so I'll go with the same thing as you. The next sentence is, Could we have the bill when you're ready? This is a polite way to ask for the bill in a restaurant or cafe. The words when you're ready make the request sound relaxed and respectful. You can say, Excuse me, could we have the bill when you're ready? If you are eating with someone, you may also ask, Could we pay separately? This means each person wants to pay for their own food. Practice the main sentence. Could we have the bill when you're ready? Now, say, There's no rush, but could we have the bill when you're ready? Here is another useful expression. Shall we split the bill? To split the bill means that two or more people share the total cost. Sometimes people divide it equally, while in other cases, each person pays for what they ordered. For example, the total is £60. Shall we split the bill? You might respond, yes, that's fine. Or, I'll pay this time and you can get the next one. Practice the question. Shall we split the bill? Now, answer naturally. That works for me. Let's split it equally. The next sentence is, it's my treat. This means that you will pay for someone else. You can use it when inviting a friend for coffee, lunch, or dinner. For example, you paid last time, so today it's my treat. Another example is, let's go out for dinner to celebrate. It's my treat. This phrase sounds warm and generous. Practice it now. It's my treat. Now say, don't worry about the bill. It's my treat today. Another common shopping sentence is, I'm just looking. Thank you. You can say this when a shop assistant asks whether you need help, but you are only browsing. For example, the assistant says, can I help you find anything? You answer, I'm just looking. Thank you. I'll let you know if I need any help. This is polite and allows you to continue shopping comfortably. Practice the sentence, I'm just looking. Thank you. Now, say the complete response. I'm just looking at the moment, but thank you for asking. The next sentence is, do you have this in a different size? This is useful when shopping for clothes or shoes. You can change size to color, style, or design. For example, do you have this in a larger size? Do you have this in black? Or, do you have this in a different style? Practice the main question. Do you have this in a different size? Now say, I like this jacket, but do you have it in a smaller size? Here is another helpful shopping sentence. Could I try this on? To try something on means to put on clothing or shoes to see whether they fit and look good. For example, could I try this jacket on? A shop assistant may reply, of course. The fitting rooms are over there. Practice the question. Could I try this on? Now, add another sentence. Could I try this on, please? I'm not sure whether the size is right. The next sentence is, it's a little more than I wanted to spend. This is a polite way to say that something is too expensive for your budget. For example, I like the bag, but it's a little more than I wanted to spend. You can then ask, do you have anything similar at a lower price? This sentence is useful because it sounds softer than saying, that is too expensive. Practice it with me. It's a little more than I wanted to spend. Now say, it's a lovely jacket, but it's a little more than I wanted to spend. Another practical sentence is, I'll think about it and come back later. Use this when you are interested in buying something, but are not ready to decide. For example, I like this table, but I need to measure the room first. I'll think about it and come back later. A natural response from the assistant might be, of course, take your time. Practice the sentence, I'll think about it and come back later. Now, say, I'm not completely sure, so I'll think about it and come back later. Now, let's connect some of these sentences in a realistic daily life situation. Imagine that you are planning to meet a friend after work. Your friend asks, are we still meeting this evening? You answer, yes. That works for me. I'm still working on something, but I'll get it done before 5. A little later, your manager gives you another task. You say, I have quite a lot to get through, but I'll see what I can do. Your friend messages again and asks where you would like to eat. You reply, I'm flexible, so whatever suits you. I'm in the mood for something light. When you arrive at the restaurant, the server asks whether you are ready to order. You say, could you give us a few more minutes? After looking at the menu, you ask, what would you recommend? Your friend chooses a meal, and you say, that sounds good. I'll go with the same thing. At the end of the meal, your friend reaches for the bill, but you say, "You paid last time. It's my treat." Now, practice the main sentences in a natural rhythm. Say, "I'm still working on it." Say, "I'll get it done before the deadline." Say, "I'm trying to figure out what went wrong." Say, "It completely slipped my mind." Say, "Thanks for bringing that to my attention." Say, "I think there may have been a misunderstanding." Say, "Let's not jump to conclusions." Say, "I need to weigh up my options." Say, "I'm leaning towards the first option." Say, "That works for me." Say, "I'll keep you posted." Say, "Things are finally starting to fall into place." Say, "I'm completely worn out." Say, "I just need a little time to unwind." Say, "I'll sleep on it and decide tomorrow." Say, "I could do with something to eat." Say, "What would you recommend?" Say, "It's my treat." Try to say each phrase as one complete unit, rather than translating every word separately. For the next practice exercise, imagine that someone has offered you a new job. The salary is good, but the workplace is far from your home. A simple response could be, "Thank you for the offer. I need to weigh up my options." A more advanced response could be, "I'm interested, but I'd rather not make a decision in a hurry. I'll sleep on it and get back to you tomorrow." Now, imagine that your friend asks which job you prefer. You could say, "I haven't made a final decision, but I'm leaning towards the first option." These sentences show that you are thoughtful and careful, without sounding uncertain or confused. Now, imagine a problem at work. A customer says that the information on their bill is incorrect. You can respond, "Thanks for bringing that to my attention. I think there may have been a misunderstanding, but I'll look into it right away." If you discover that you made a mistake, you might say, "I apologize. It completely slipped my mind, and I didn't mean to cause any trouble." These responses sound responsible because you acknowledge the problem and show that you are ready to fix it. Let's practice another situation. You are shopping for a coat. A shop assistant asks, "Can I help you?" You say, "I'm just looking. Thank you." After a few minutes, you find a coat you like and ask, "Do you have this in a different size?" The assistant gives you another one, and you say, "Could I try this on?" The coat fits well, but the price is higher than expected. You can say, "I really like it, but it's a little more than I wanted to spend. I'll think about it and come back later." This is polite, clear, and completely natural. Now, create your own sentences using the patterns you have learnt. Start with, "I'm trying to figure out." You could say, "I'm trying to figure out how this machine works." Now, use, "It slipped my mind." You might say, "I was going to buy milk, but it slipped my mind." Next, use, "I'm leaning towards." You could say, "I'm leaning towards staying at home tonight." Then use, "I could do with." You might say, "I could do with a quiet weekend." Finally, use, "I'll keep you posted." You could say, "I'm waiting for the test results, and I'll keep you posted." A powerful way to remember these phrases is to connect them to your own life. Think about one unfinished task and say, "I'm still working on it." Think about a recent mistake and say, "I'm trying to figure out what went wrong." Think about a decision you need to make and say, "I need to weigh up my options." Think about something you want right now and say, "I could do with a cup of tea," or "I could do with a short break." When the sentence is connected to a real thought, it becomes easier to remember and use. Do not try to speak too quickly. Fluent English is not only about speed, it is about choosing natural phrases, connecting your ideas clearly, and responding with confidence. Take one sentence at a time, listen to its rhythm, and then use it in 2 or 3 different situations. Over time, these sentences will stop feeling like expressions you studied. They will start feeling like part of your natural English. Let's continue with another useful sentence. Could you point me in the right direction? You can use this when you need help finding a place or understanding what to do next. For example, you may be inside a large building and unable to find the reception desk. You could say, "Excuse me, could you point me in the right direction?" You can also use this phrase in a less literal way. At work, you might say, "I'm not sure which form I need to complete. Could you point me in the right direction?" The phrase means that you are asking someone to guide you. Practice it slowly. Could you point me in the right direction? Now, say, "I'm looking for the nearest bus stop. Could you point me in the right direction?" The next sentence is, "I seem to have taken a wrong turn." This is a natural way to say that you have gone in the wrong direction. You can use it while driving, walking, or trying to find a building. For example, "I was trying to reach the city center, but I seem to have taken a wrong turn." The phrase "I seem to have" sounds softer than directly saying, "I made a mistake." You might also say, "I seem to have taken a wrong turn. Could you tell me how to get back to the main road?" Practice it with me. I seem to have taken a wrong turn. Now, say the complete example. I seem to have taken a wrong turn, so I'm going to check the map. Another practical sentence is, how long does it take to get there? Use this when asking about travel time. You can ask about walking, driving, or public transport. For example, how long does it take to get there by bus? Or, how long does it take to walk to the station? A natural answer might be, it takes about 15 minutes if the traffic is light. Practice the question, how long does it take to get there? Now, make it more specific. How long does it take to get there from here? The next sentence is this seat taken? You can use this on a bus, train, in a cafe, at a meeting, or in any place where you want to sit down. It is a polite way to ask whether someone else is using the seat. For example, "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" The person may answer, "No, it's free." Or, "I'm sorry, someone is sitting there. Practice it now. Is this seat taken?" Another useful variation is anyone sitting here? Both questions are natural and easy to use. Here is another travel sentence. Could you let me know when we get there? This is useful when you are traveling by bus, train, or taxi, and you are unsure where to get off. For example, "I'm not familiar with this area. Could you let me know when we get to King Street?" You can also say, "Could you let me know when we reach the airport?" Practice the main sentence. Could you let me know when we get there? Now say, "I don't want to miss my stop, so could you let me know when we get there?" The next useful sentence is, "I'd like to check in, please." You can use this at a hotel, an airport, or another place where you need to register your arrival. At a hotel reception desk, you might say, "Hello, I'd like to check in, please." The booking is under the name Taylor. At an airport, you may say, "I'd like to check in for the flight to Manchester." Practice it slowly. "I'd like to check in, please." Now say, "Hello, I have a reservation, and I'd like to check in, please." Another helpful sentence is, "There seems to be a problem with my booking." You can use this when a reservation is missing, incorrect, or different from what you expected. For example, "There seems to be a problem with my booking. I reserved a double room, but the confirmation shows a single room." You might also say, "There seems to be a problem with my booking because my name is not on the list." This sentence is polite because it focuses on the problem rather than blaming the other person. Practice it. "There seems to be a problem with my booking." Now, say, "Could you check it again? There seems to be a problem with my booking." The next sentence is, "Would it be possible to change rooms?" This is a polite request you can use at a hotel. Perhaps the room is too noisy, the heating is not working, or you need a different type of bed. You might say, "The room is quite noisy. Would it be possible to change rooms?" Another example is, "The air conditioning doesn't seem to be working. Would it be possible to move to another room? Practice the sentence, would it be possible to change rooms? Notice how, would it be possible, makes the request sound respectful. Here is a useful sentence for appointments. I'm here for my appointment. You can use this at a doctor's office, dentist, salon, bank, or professional meeting. For example, good morning. I'm here for my appointment with Dr. Harris. You may also say, I'm here for my 10:30 appointment. Practice it now. I'm here for my appointment. Then say, hello, I'm here for my appointment, but I may be a few minutes early. The next sentence is, I've been feeling under the weather. To feel under the weather means to feel slightly ill or unwell. It is useful when you have a headache, a cold, low energy, or another mild problem. For example, I've been feeling under the weather for the past few days. You can also say, I'm going to rest today because I've been feeling a little under the weather. This phrase is common in everyday English, but it is not usually used for a serious emergency. Practice it slowly. I've been feeling under the weather. Now, say, I haven't been myself lately because I've been feeling under the weather. Another important sentence is, I'd like to get this checked out. Use this when you want a doctor or another professional to examine a problem. For example, I've had this pain in my shoulder for several days, and I'd like to get it checked out. You might also say, my phone keeps overheating, so I'd like to get it checked out. The expression works for both health problems and objects that need inspection. Practice it with me. I'd like to get this checked out. Now, say, it may be nothing serious, but I'd like to get it checked out. The next sentence is, could you tell me how often I should take this? You can use this when asking about medicine. You may ask a doctor or pharmacist, could you tell me how often I should take this? You can also ask, should I take it with food? Or, are there any side effects I should know about? Practice the main question. Could you tell me how often I should take this? Now say, I want to make sure I use it correctly. So could you tell me how often I should take it? Here is another useful sentence. I'm feeling much better than I was yesterday. You can say this when your health, mood, or energy has improved. For example, thanks for asking. I'm feeling much better than I was yesterday. You could also say, I still have a slight headache, but I'm feeling much better than I was yesterday. Practice it now. I'm feeling much better than I was yesterday. This sentence is useful because it compares your condition today with your condition in the past. The next daily sentence is, I'm having a few people over this evening. To have people over means to invite people to your home. For example, I'm having a few people over this evening, so I need to tidy the living room. You could also say, we're having some friends over for dinner. Practice the sentence, I'm having a few people over this evening. Now, say, I can't stay late because I'm having a few people over this evening. Another natural sentence is, make yourself at home. This is something you can say to a guest to help them feel relaxed and comfortable in your home. For example, come in and make yourself at home. I'll make some tea. You can also say, please make yourself at home while I finish preparing dinner. Then or practice it with me. Make yourself at home. Now say the fuller version. It's lovely to see you. Come in and make yourself at home. The next sentence is, can I get you anything to drink? This is a polite question to ask a guest. You can offer tea, coffee, water, or another drink. For example, can I get you anything to drink? I've just made some coffee. A guest may respond, water would be great, thank you, or no, thank you. I'm fine for now. Practice the question. Can I get you anything to drink? Now, answer it naturally. A cup of tea would be lovely. Thank you. Here is a helpful sentence for household tasks. I'll tidy up once everyone has left. To tidy up means to make a place clean and organized. For example, there are plates and cups everywhere, but I'll tidy up once everyone has left. You can also say, Could you help me tidy up after dinner? Practice the sentence slowly. I'll tidy up once everyone has left. Now say, don't worry about the mess. I'll tidy up later. The next sentence is, I'm trying to cut back on unnecessary spending. To cut back on something means to reduce it. You can cut back on spending, sugar, coffee, screen time, or any habit you want to limit. For example, I'm trying to cut back on unnecessary spending, so I'm cooking at home more often. Another example is, I'm trying to cut back on coffee because I've been drinking too much. Practice it now. I'm trying to cut back on unnecessary spending. Then create your own example. I'm trying to cut back on. You might say, I'm trying to cut back on eating out. Another useful money sentence is, I need to keep a closer eye on my expenses. To keep an eye on something means to watch or monitor it carefully. For example, I spent more than expected last month, so I need to keep a closer eye on my expenses. You could also say, I use an app to keep an eye on how much I spend each week. Practice the sentence, I need to keep a closer eye on my expenses. Now, say, everything is getting more expensive, so I need to keep a closer eye on my expenses. The next sentence is, it's good value for money. This means that something is worth the price you pay for it. It does not always mean that the item is cheap. A product can be expensive but still offer good value if the quality is high. For example, the hotel costs £90 a night, but breakfast is included and the location is excellent, so it's good value for money. You might also say, this coat was not cheap, but it is warm, well-made, and good value for money. Practice it with me. It's good value for money. Now, say, I've used it for years, so I think it was good value for money. Here is another practical sentence. I'm looking for something within my budget. Use this when shopping, booking a hotel, renting a home, or choosing a service. For example, I need a reliable phone, but I'm looking for something within my budget. You could also say, the first hotel is too expensive. I'm looking for something within my budget. Practice the sentence, I'm looking for something within my budget. Now, make it more specific. I'm looking for a simple laptop within my budget. The next sentence is, I've been meaning to get in touch with you. This means that you have wanted or planned to contact someone for some time, but have not done it yet. For example, I've been meaning to get in touch with you, but the past few weeks have been very busy. Another example is, I've been meaning to get in touch with you to ask how the new job is going. This phrase is excellent for reconnecting with a friend, colleague, or relative. Practice it slowly. I've been meaning to get in touch with you. Now say, it's been a while. I've been meaning to get in touch with you. Another useful social sentence is, we should catch up sometime. To catch up means to talk to someone you have not seen recently and share news about your lives. For example, it was great seeing you. We should catch up sometime. You could make the invitation more specific by saying, we should catch up over coffee next week. Practice it now. We should catch up sometime. Now, say, it's been far too long. We should catch up properly. The final sentence in this lesson is, let's keep in touch. You can use this at the end of a meeting, trip, course, event, or conversation with someone you hope to speak to again. For example, it was lovely meeting you. Let's keep in touch. You may also say, send me your number so we can keep in touch. This phrase expresses a desire to continue communicating in the future. Practice it with me. Let's keep in touch. Now, say the complete version. I really enjoyed talking with you. Let's keep in touch. Now, let's connect these final sentences in a few realistic situations. Imagine that you are visiting an unfamiliar part of the city. You stop someone and say, excuse me, could you point me in the right direction? I'm trying to find the central station. After walking for several minutes, you realize that you are not where you expected to be. You say, I seem to have taken a wrong turn. How long does it take to get there from here? When you finally get on the bus, you ask another passenger, "Is this seat taken?" Then you speak to the driver and say, "I'm not familiar with the area. Could you let me know when we get to the station?" These questions are polite, clear, and useful for everyday travel. Now, imagine that you arrive at a hotel. You approach the reception desk and say, "Hello, I'd like to check in, please." The receptionist checks the computer, but cannot find the correct room type. You say, "There seems to be a problem with my booking. I reserved a quiet double room." After entering the room, you hear loud construction noise outside. You return to reception and ask, "The room is much noisier than I expected. Would it be possible to change rooms?" Notice that you do not need to become angry to communicate clearly. Calm, specific sentences often help solve a problem more quickly. Now, imagine that you have not been feeling well. At the clinic, you say, "Good morning, I'm here for my appointment." When the doctor asks how you have been, you answer, "I've been feeling under the weather for several days, and I'd like to get this checked out." After the doctor recommends medicine, you ask, "Could you tell me how often I should take this?" A few days later, a friend calls to ask about your health. You can say, "I'm feeling much better than I was yesterday. I still need to rest, but I'm improving." Let's practice a situation at home. You tell a friend, "I'm having a few people over this evening." When your guests arrive, you welcome them by saying, "Come in and make yourself at home." Then you ask, "Can I get you anything to drink?" After the gathering, someone offers to help clean. You can say, "Thank you, I'll tidy up once everyone has left, but you can help me carry these cups to the kitchen." These expressions make you sound friendly and considerate. Now, think about a shopping situation. You see an item you like, but you are concerned about the cost. You can say, "I'm looking for something within my budget." The assistant shows you a cheaper option. You examine it and say, "This seems well made, and it looks like good value for money." Later, you think about your monthly spending and say, "I'm trying to cut back on unnecessary spending, so I need to keep a closer eye on my expenses." These phrases allow you to discuss money naturally without using difficult or technical language. Let's practice the social expressions together. Say, "I've been meaning to get in touch with you." Say, "We should catch up sometime." Say, "Let's keep in touch." Now, connect them in one natural message. "Hi, I've been meaning to get in touch with you. It's been a long time, and we should catch up sometime." At the end of the conversation, you can say, "It was wonderful speaking with you. Let's keep in touch." You have now heard 100 useful daily English sentences throughout this lesson. The real benefit will come from using them actively. Choose 10 sentences that are most relevant to your life, and say each one aloud several times. Then create a personal example. For, "I'm still working on it." Think about a real task you have not completed. For, "I need to weigh up my options." Think about a real decision. For, "I could do with something to eat." Connect the phrase to how you feel. For, "I've been meaning to get in touch with you." Think about someone you have not contacted recently. Now, practice a complete daily routine using the expressions from the lesson. In the morning, you might say, "I didn't sleep very well last night, and I'm running a little behind." Before work, you may say, "I have quite a lot to get through today, but I'm trying to stay on top of everything." During the day, you might tell a colleague, "I'm still working on it, but I'll get it done before the deadline." If a problem appears, you can say, "I'm trying to figure out what went wrong." If someone gives you useful information, respond with, "Thanks for bringing that to my attention." If you need clarification, say, "I didn't quite catch what you said," or, "Just to make sure I understand, you need this today, right?" When making plans, you can say, "I'll have to check my schedule first." If the suggested time is convenient, say, "That works for me." If the arrangement is not final, say, shall we pencil it in for Friday? If you are waiting for information, say, I'll keep you posted, or I'll let you know as soon as I hear anything. If you need more time to decide, say, I'd rather not make a decision in a hurry, or I'll sleep on it and decide tomorrow. When you are tired at the end of the day, you can say, it's been a long day, but I got a lot done. You may add, I'm completely worn out, and I just need a little time to unwind. When you are ready to stop working, say, I'm going to call it a day. These phrases communicate your feelings naturally and help you avoid repeating simple words such as tired, busy, or finished. Now, try a fluency challenge. Speak for 1 minute about your day and include at least 5 expressions from the lesson. You might say, I was running a little behind this morning because I didn't sleep very well last night. When I arrived at work, I had quite a lot to get through. One of my colleagues asked for help, so I told her I would see what I could do. Later, there was a problem with a file, and I tried to figure out what went wrong. It was a long day, but I got a lot done. Your answer does not need to be perfect. The goal is to connect the phrases in a meaningful way. Here is another practice challenge. Imagine that a friend invites you on a weekend trip. You are interested, but you need to check your money and schedule. You could say, that sounds like a good idea to me, but I'll have to check my schedule first. I'm also trying to cut back on unnecessary spending, so I need to find out how much it will cost. I don't want to make a decision in a hurry. Let me weigh up my options, and I'll get back to you tomorrow. This answer is clear, polite, and advanced without being unnatural. For one final practice, imagine that you meet an old friend unexpectedly. You could say, it's so good to see you. I've been meaning to get in touch with you. Your friend tells you about a new job, and you respond, that sounds exciting. Things are finally starting to fall into place for you. Before leaving, you say, we should catch up sometime. Let's keep in touch. Try saying this conversation aloud in your own natural voice. Focus on calm pronunciation, clear sentence stress, and smooth connections between your ideas. Remember that advanced English does not always mean using long or difficult words. Many advanced speakers sound natural because they use complete phrases such as, I'll see what I can do. That's not exactly what I had in mind. I need to weigh up my options. And, thanks for bringing that to my attention. Learn these expressions as complete units, listen to them, say them, and connect them to real situations. With regular practice, you will begin to use them automatically and express yourself with more confidence, accuracy, and ease. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. You have now learned 100 useful daily English sentences and advanced phrases that you can use in real conversations. Remember, you do not need to memorize everything at once. Choose a few sentences each day. Say them aloud, create your own examples, and use them whenever you get the chance. The more often you practice complete phrases, the more naturally and confidently you will speak. Keep listening, keep speaking, and always remember that progress is more important than perfection. If you enjoyed this lesson, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon, so you do not miss our future English learning videos. Also, write one of your favorite sentences from today's lesson in the comments, and use it in your own example. Thank you again for learning with me. Keep practicing, stay confident, and I'll see you in the next lesson.